3-week-old Australian Labradoodle puppies. What's more fun than spending time with them? In this video, we are going to go through each of the puppies. We'll update their weight. We'll tell you if their ears are open. And we'll let you know today why having their ears open is an important part of the development of your puppy at Van Isle Doodles. We're also going to talk a little bit about initial desensitization and socialization. We're going to talk about when these puppies might move to the doodle den. And we're also going to touch on insurance a little bit today. Hi, I'm Claire from Van Isle Labradoodles, and these little puppies are from our calligraphy litter. And we named them the calligraphy litter because I knew some of them would have patterns that reminded me of calligraphy. These guys are really doing well, as you can see. It's hard to believe that just 3 weeks ago, only 21 days ago, they were all struggling to be able to nurse at the milk bar. Part of that was because they were newborn, and part of that was because Anice's nipples are flush rather than protruding, which made it a little bit harder for the puppies when they were first starting out. Well, clearly we've passed that stage because now they're all on top of her. When they're all together like this, my goodness, they look like they are bigger than she is when they're all piled up here. Anice herself is doing well. She's panting, as you can see. She does find it hot in here. We have the temperature turned down to 22. Now, normally I would have turned it down to 21 by now, but her neighbor is Rowan, and Rowan's puppies are not quite 2 weeks old yet. So I like to wait until they are 2 weeks old before we move it down that final notch. So she's still having a great big pant here. Now, of course, right now she's really warm because she has all of these cozy, squirmy, adorable Labradoodle puppy bodies all nestled up next to her. Lactating is a lot of work. It's hard work, but Anice enjoys the fact that it means you get really big meals and you get a lot of them. Anice loves her groceries. She's not shy about letting you know that she enjoys eating, and so we're happy to make sure that she always has lots of plenty fresh food available. Now, you might be wondering why we haven't moved the puppies to the doodle den. Normally when we do our week 3 litter update, we're telling you, hey, look, they've moved. Well, there's a reason. First of all, we wait until the puppies have their ears open whenever possible. I prefer for them to be able to have all their senses working before we take them out of the safety of the environment that they were born with and introduce them to something new. Now, this ties in with desensitization and socialization. So socialization, a lot of people have the idea that that means introducing a puppy to a lot of different dogs, or perhaps they think it's introducing puppies to a lot of different people. And yes, that does comprise part of what socialization is. But the most important aspect is that all of the experiences a puppy has, that they are positive. That way, your puppy will always be embracing the opportunity for new things to happen in their life. They'll welcome new dogs, they'll welcome new people, and when you go somewhere different, they won't be worried about it. They'll be confident and be curious. We want to encourage confidence and curiosity in our Labradoodles. So that's why we don't like to move our puppies until all of their senses are working. We want them to be able to see. Now, we know their vision isn't perfect, but they can see well enough now to be able to see their surroundings. We want them to be able to hear, because when they can first hear, of course, that's very startling. It's like, what? I've never heard anything before. So every sound is new and makes them pick their head up and look around. So when their ears first start to open, we like that to be in a very quiet and controlled environment, such as our maternity room. We want the sounds that they first hear to be muffled. So that's why in our room here, they're hearing sounds from everyday life through 2 doors. We have glass doors that go into the maternity ward, and then we have doors that are like this, a panel that close each of the rooms off. So that gives us a good bit of buffer in terms of noise. Because of course we have lots of dogs in the house. We have dogs coming and going. We have people coming and going. And we have the TV on. We have music on. There's lots of things that happen during the day. So when they're here in a safe, secure spot where they're used to, and they hear these things, that allows them to absorb the fact that there is sound in their life now without becoming upset about it. They're not going to be like, oh, what was that? They're going to be more apt to be, oh, and then realize nothing happens, because that's the beauty of being here. Now, some people have their puppies in the middle of their home. I disagree with that approach very much, because I can only imagine if I'm a little puppy like this, my ears open, and all of a sudden I have everything bombarding me at full volume. I'm going to feel a little apprehensive about that. So this is why we designed our home the way we have, so that the puppies are introduced to things at their pace and in a gradual way, and a way that is more likely to be positive. So these guys all do have their ears open. They're in varying degrees. Some of them have their ears fully open. Some have their ears partially open. But all of them have their ears open enough that they are now accustomed to sound. They're all able to hear my voice, for example. And that's another thing we do, is when we're in here with them, we modulate our voice. We don't start off talking really loudly. We keep our voice at a lower pitch and a softer tone, in order, again, for it not to be anything that's untoward. We don't yell at anybody or make a big noise. If somebody's calling us from outside of the maternity ward, we don't yell back to them so they can hear us, for instance. The other thing we look for before we move the puppies is their mobility. If these puppies were all roaring around like crazy and they were starting to be able to escape out the end of the whelping box here, and their ears were not open, we would then make the decision that they would have to be moved despite their ears not opening. Because first of all, their safety is paramount, and we don't want them to be able to get out of the box and end up outside of the box and not able to get back in. Outside of the box is an LVP flooring, which means that they would be slipping on it. That's not good for their joints. It would be frightening, and they would not be able to get enough purchase in order to be able to climb back in the box. Whereas when they're here in the box with the carpet, they're well able to get a grip once they get agile enough that they can start to move out. And the other thing that we also start to look for is how much is the niece able to keep up with them in terms of them going to the bathroom. So when they're little, she stimulates them, and they don't go unless she stimulates them. And so there's no pee left on the carpet here. Now that they're this age, they don't need her to do that any longer. They can go on their own. So once they start to be able to eliminate on their own, that means that they are going to the bathroom right on the carpet, where they're also sleeping. And that is not something that we want to have happen either. So you guessed it. Later today, these guys are moving. As soon as we finish the video, or probably later this afternoon, we will be taking the puppies and moving them out into the doodle den. So they're all ready to go. These guys are very calm. Nothing seems to fuss them very much at all. Well, in fact, nothing fusses them. I would say overall, they're even calmer than Anise is. Anise likes to be happy and really show it to you. If something is worrying her, for instance, if somebody rings the doorbell, she will bark at them initially, and she does jump out to see what's going on. Whereas these guys, their response to everything is, oh yeah, whatever, it's all fine. And that's what we want to encourage, because everybody wants to have a nice, calm, well-adjusted puppy. So when we send them home to you, that's what we strive to give you, and then let you take over from there. Now, the other thing that I want to talk a bit about in terms of socialization is when you take your puppy home, it's important that within the first, after they've been home with you for 5 to 10 days, that you have your puppy socialization classes starting. You don't want to wait until your puppy is older than that. The socialization window is very short. It ends between week 12 and 16. So you don't have a lot of time after you take your puppy home to really get going on that. Most socialization classes that you will go to run between 8 and 10 sessions. So you want to get going on those right away. If you're getting one of these puppies, if you're on our list, I would suggest that you sign up for those classes now if you haven't already. You know what day you're taking your puppy home, so find one that starts within 5 to 10 days after that. And then the next round of classes that you do after that will be more actually like a manners class, learning more off and stay, leave it, things like that. That you don't need to start until your puppy is old enough to learn these things. We have to remember, even though they seem so clever and they grow up so quickly, they are still little infants when they go home to you, and they can only absorb things so much. So very short periods of time with just one thing at a time that you're trying to show them. And of course, when you first get home, the most important thing of all is bonding. You need to be able to earn your puppy's trust and your puppy's respect, because you're not going to get anywhere with any classes if you don't have those two things from your puppy. And they'll give it to you freely, but you also do have to earn it. They will start off trusting you. They won't not trust you unless you teach them that you can't be trusted. But you want to show them that you can very much be trusted and that you are there to look after their best interests. So that's what you're going to focus on when you first come home. Now let's talk a little bit about insurance. We get a lot of questions about insurance. First of all, your puppy will go home to you with 30 days of free insurance from Trupanion. This is not because Van Isle Doodles in any way receives any benefit from Trupanion, nor do we recommend Trupanion over anyone else. It's simply Trupanion offers this to any registered breeder of any breed of dog. And so we are happy to provide that to you because it's unbelievable how many things can happen in the first 30 days. We recently had a puppy who was walking to puppy socialization class. There was some marijuana ash on the sidewalk. The puppy got it on their paw. The puppy licked their paw and had marijuana toxicity. Because the puppy was so young, the puppy was 9 weeks old, it was a very serious situation. The puppy had to stay for a couple of nights in emergency, and it was touch and go whether the puppy would survive. So Trupanion paid that bill for them, and it was quite an expensive bill. That puppy did require 24-hour round-the-clock care and monitoring. So things like that that you don't even think of can happen. Lots of times, because puppies are very squirmy and because you're just getting used to handling them, they can sometimes just pop right out of your arms. And what happens is they could break their leg or they could injure themselves in some other way, and there we go looking at an expensive vet bill. So the 30 days comes to you free, and I always suggest that between now and going home day, that you take a look at all of the various different insurance companies that there are. There's many different options. Each one of them has pluses and minuses, and you need to find the one that's right for you. Now, should you even get insurance? There's lots of reasons why you should, but I always tell everybody, if you have no problem finding $10,000 to spend, and if you spend it, you can put it back easily and that won't bother you, you probably don't need to have health insurance for your dog. Generally speaking, the average emergency room visit on Vancouver Island runs around $5,000 right now. If you're in Vancouver, that's closer to around $6,500. Yeah, you can go and it'll be cheaper sometimes, but that's the average cost. So I think you want to make sure you have about twice as much as you need available to you, because it doesn't take long for complex care to be needed. So with the puppy with the marijuana toxicity, for example, that puppy required the round-the-clock care. So that added quite a bit to their bill, putting it up way higher than you would think would normally occur for something that is unfortunately quite commonplace now. Once marijuana was made legal, we began to see butts and ash and bits and pieces of smoked marijuana or heated marijuana in all sorts of locations. You can't really go anywhere where you're not going to run into it. Marijuana that's not been heated is not toxic to dogs, but heated marijuana is, and it only takes a small amount, and it can be fatal, especially in a young, small puppy. You can imagine this body is pretty tiny here and can't handle too many foreign things going into it. So that's pretty much my thoughts on insurance for dogs. Now, the benefit of having the 30 days free is your puppy, there's no waiting period, and your puppy does not have any pre-existing conditions. If there is a notation on your vet record book for something, let's say we had a puppy and there was some health concern that was serious enough to be noted on your health record that will go home with your puppy from us, then that is something that your insurance provider would exclude from coverage. But as long as your health check record is clear, then your puppy has no pre-existing conditions. So that means that anything that happens will be covered. So the main things you want to look at in an insurance company are: do they have a maximum payout? Do you have to pay your deductible every time? And what is it that they cover? Some insurance companies cover everything, including the consultation with the vet. Some insurance companies only cover surgeries, treatments, hospital stays, but not the consultation visit with the vet. None of them include routine things like vaccinations or spaying and neutering. Those things will be costs that you will incur yourself. So it's a good idea to check through them all. Make sure when you do your search that you look for Canadian ones, not American. And really important is that your insurer knows that the dog you have is an Australian Labradoodle, not a Labradoodle, not a Golden Doodle, not a Doodle, not a Poodle cross mix, whatever other term they might have, because Australian Labradoodles are fortunate enough to enjoy a lower rate because they are in better health overall. So it's great, they have less claims. So how do they decide what the rates are? It's based partially on the breed of your dog, the age of your dog, and also where you live. Your postal code is an important part of the cost of the coverage. And if you start with your puppy right from day one, and you do stay with Trupanion, they will never raise your rates because your dog is getting older. That's one of the things they guarantee. I have no idea if any other ones do or not. I only know what Trupanion does because they give me their information, and so that's what I know. I don't ever hear from any other insurance companies, so that's why I don't know what options they have. I only know what Trupanion does, but that doesn't mean I'm endorsing them. I'm just telling you that is what knowledge I have. So that's about it for learning today. If you're on this litter list, this week you will get 2 videos, and they will both be all about socializing your puppy. The second video was one that we made during COVID, because as you can imagine, socializing a puppy during COVID when we had restrictions was a little bit more challenging. And you'll hear lots of talk about, oh, that's a COVID puppy. And lots of people did not properly socialize their dog during COVID. They, for whatever reason, chose not to. It was more effort for sure. And that is why you will sadly see some puppies that were not from professional breeders in shelters now because they are COVID puppies. Breeders, of course, that are professional take their puppies back at any time for any reason, should someone be unwilling or unable to care for the dog. And so professional breeders' puppies do not end up in shelters. But the video on how to socialize your puppy during COVID has lots of really useful and valuable little tips, because every day there's an opportunity to provide some socialization for your puppy. You just might not even be thinking of it. So for instance, let's say you're driving to school to pick the kids up. When you've got your puppy in their booster seat, you roll the window down, you go and you make sure that you're parked where the puppy can see and hear all the kids going, yay, school's over, running around, and that's socialization. And again, that's sort of like being in the box here. They're in their booster seat, they're with you in the car, they're safe, secure, the window is up so nobody can get at them, and obviously they can't jump out. And that way they're able to experience this great big amount of activity and noise without any feeling that some harm might come to them. So it's a great way to get them exposed to that type of thing. So there's all sorts of little examples like that in the video you'll receive this week. So now let's go through the puppies, Anise, and let's tell everybody how much they weigh. They are just really doing very well, because you can see this milk bar is it's quite a generous one, and that's partly because Miss Monkey Anise here loves to eat, and so we don't have to worry about her not having enough groceries here to make milk for her babies. All right, here we go. So we'll do them in birth order like we always do. Would you want me to talk about you more? We didn't weigh you. No, we don't want to share your weight. You might be embarrassed. That's all, kisses. Thank you. Anise is very affectionate. All the girls are so affectionate. I just love it. It's always so wonderful to get all their kisses and all their love. And when they ask for extra time for them like this, no matter what we're doing, we always stop to give it to them, because it's important that they know how important they are and that they're loved, even though they're working so hard to raise their babies. When we move to the Doodle Den, Anise will be very excited, because that means that she will be beginning to have less responsibility for the puppies. This is her last litter, so she knows the routine inside and out. So Pink Color Girl is our firstborn puppy, and she is just a beautiful gleaming ebony that you can see here. She's all sprawled out here in all of her prettiness. Hi, how are you doing? And Miss Pink can hear. As you can see, as soon as I pick her up, she's already giving me that beautiful eye contact. She can identify my voice. She knows it's me. She now is able to put together that this is what this person looks like, this is what this person smells like, and this is what this person sounds like. And I quite like her, because every time she comes in, she gives me cuddles and love. Yes, she does. You want to look at the camera? Look at the camera. Look how cute I am. Miss Pink Color Girl is 1.232 kilograms. She is a lovely, solid puppy. There you go, little girl. And she's just starting to explore and walk around. You'll see a little bit of batting with paws going on as they start to play with each other. They're not doing a lot of that yet, but we'll see that develop over this next week. Next is Red Color Girl here, the one who I think looks like Calligraphy, because she has that gorgeous ebony party pattern. Very pretty girl. Hey, she also can hear. Hi. This little girl, I just love her looks, because I love that wide open white face and the two black ears. It's just a very pretty one. So you see how she gave me also eye contact. Her ears are not quite as open as Pink's. Hi. But they are well open enough that she knows I'm talking, and so she's going to look at me and make that connection with me. All the puppies in this litter have really beautiful eye contact. One of the nicest things that you can find in a dog. And that's usually indicative of a dog who's very intuitive and aware of people and what they're feeling. Miss Red is an even 1 kilogram. So a little bit smaller than her sissy Pink there, but just doing great. There you go, my sweet love. Good girl. Oh, we can also talk about coats lifting. So if you take a look over here at Pinky, you'll see she almost looks like she has a lab coat. It's all flat, except for right here. We can see a little bit poking up, and same on Red, right around the neck. We'll see how it looks like they're a little roughed up, and that maybe they didn't have a good hair day. This is what we call lifting. And this is what will give your puppy that beautiful, full, fluffy, teddy bear Australian Labradoodle look. So they're just starting to have their coats lift now. Next we have Green Collar Boy. This is green right here. And green is our Ebony Phantom. And phantom is these markings where you have the tan, they may be tan, copper, or they may be silver, points, if you will. So they're down their legs, up from the toes, on the side of the face, over the eyebrows, which you can't see until I pick him up. There we go. Now he's showing you his eyebrows. And then also in the vent area. And the vent area is what we call underneath the tail. Hello, Greenie Pie. How are you doing? Hi again. Beautiful eye contact, curious, interested, already reaching out, wanting to know, oh, can I give you a kiss? Yes, of course you can give me a kiss, because I love to have a kiss. We do lots of kissing in this place, don't we? Oh, yes. And Mr. Green is 1.04 kilograms. Yeah, that's you. I'm talking about you. Are you a good puppy? So it's important already when we're talking to the puppies how our tone is. We want to make sure that we have a really nice, happy tone, and it's perfectly fine to talk to your puppy in baby talk. There is actual scientific evidence that talking to your puppy in baby talk is a good thing for them and helps their development and also gives them confidence. Next, we've got Burgundy Collar, who's right here. She's trying to negotiate her way around. And she also is an ebony party, but you see she has more white on her back. So this is what we call an extreme party. And you can also see that there is a little bit of a black smoosh here before she gets all settled in. I'm going to pick her up so she knows what's going on. Hi! So she is the opposite of Red Collar. Her face is all black, including her ears. And then she has the little white bit up the side of her nose and her head. Well, Miss Burgundy does not have her ears all the ways open. She's starting to respond, but not quite as much as the other puppies. And you can notice that right away in how we don't have as much eye contact going on here, and she's not trying to initiate physical contact with me. So we don't push her, we just wait because we want to make sure that she's ready. So her ears, I can tell from looking at them, they'll be all the ways open, I would say probably by tomorrow. But for right now, they're just starting. And so we talk a little bit quieter and we do a little nose touch. Oh, she says, what the heck was that all about? Ugh, why do I want your nose on mine? So we don't force it. We wait for the puppy to come to us always. And there she is giving me a little bit of a side eye. So when your puppy does that, when they look at you sideways like that, and you can see all this white of their eye, that means that they're a little bit anxious. So when that happens, we want to make sure we change that situation and we put them in a place where they aren't anxious, because we never want them to be associating us with any feelings of anxiety. And Miss Burgundy Collar is 948 grams. She is the smallest puppy in the litter and the only one that is still under 1 kilogram. Next we have Mr. Blue. Mr. Blue, actually, you're Mr. Blue. I was getting ahead of myself there and going for black. Mr. Blue is another one of these beautiful ebony parties. We'll just show his handsome little markings off the back there. And he is sort of in between his two sisters. So his Red Collar's got the white face and Burgundy has the black face. And Mr. Blue has a half, well, not a half, but he's got a black face with a big amount of white on his nose and up his head. And you can see he can hear, and he's giving me that eye contact. He's looking all over the place. And he says, yeah, let's have a kiss or something. What are we going to do? Usually something fun happens. He's got big feet, this guy. And Mr. Blue is 1.6 kilograms, or 1.06, sorry, not 1.6. Oh no, you're not that big yet. That's a 1.06. Oh my goodness, if you were 1.6, you would be huge. Get through wood. And last but not least is Black Collar. And Black Collar is Black Collar because he is a beautiful ebony boy. He has a little bit of white highlights there on his back feet, and he's just sound asleep. Oh my goodness. And his ears are open, I can tell you that. And just look at the shine on this little boy's coat. Hi, how are you? This guy has the most pretty face. He's got those beautiful high set ears that we look for in an ALD. He looks a little dopey right now. He says, oh my gosh, I was having such a good sleep, but I'll give you a kiss anyways, or at least we'll touch noses. I'm not sure if I can get my tongue out right now. Mr. Black is the biggest puppy in the litter, and he weighs 1.342 kilograms. So that is all of our beautiful puppies from the Calligraphy litter. We hope you enjoyed today's update. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments. We always appreciate your comments. They're very helpful to us, and also I really like to talk to all of you. So we hope we'll see you again next week, where we will be coming to you live from the Doodle Den, and you'll see all of their new expanded space and find out what they've been doing in that new area. Thanks so much for watching.